secluded village named Eldon, nestled between the vast mountains, a dense forest known as the Forest of Shadows stood. It was named so due to the stories of black magic, dark rituals, and the haunting spirits that inhabited it. Generations were warned never to enter the forest after dusk. Jenna, a young journalist, moved to Eldon to research the tales. The villagers, especially the elders, warned her not to venture too deep. But Jenna, ever the skeptic, decided to camp there overnight. On her first night, Jenna was awakened by the distant sounds of chants. Following the sounds, she discovered an ancient stone circle. In the center, a large black stone, the obsidian altar, shimmered under the moonlight. Around it, cloaked figures moved rhythmically, chanting incantations. Hiding behind a tree, Jenna watched as they brought forth a young woman, her eyes filled with terror. The woman was bound to the altar, and as the leader of the group started his ritualistic dance, the sky turned a menacing shade of red. Jenna's heart raced. Her journalistic instincts told her to document everything, but the terror she felt kept her frozen. The leader raised a dagger, its blade shimmering in the eerie light. But just as he was about to strike, an elder from the village, Old Man Harris, burst into the clearing, brandishing a silver amulet. "The Forest of Shadows won't claim another soul tonight," he shouted. The cloaked figures hissed, their eyes glowing an unholy yellow. They were not merely villagers, they were shadowy beings, twisted by the black magic they practiced. Old Man Harris chanted a counterspell, and the silver amulet began to glow brightly, pushing the shadows away. Jenna, seizing the moment, rushed to the altar and freed the young woman. The battle between light and darkness raged on. Trees twisted and moaned, and the ground shook violently. But finally, with one last shout, Old Man Harris thrust the amulet into the obsidian altar. A blinding light exploded, and when it faded, the cloaked figures were gone, and the forest was silent. Jenna, along with the rescued woman, made her way back to Eldon. Old Man Harris had saved them, but at a cost. He had aged decades in mere minutes and soon passed away, leaving behind the powerful amulet and tales of his bravery. The Forest of Shadows remained, but the dark rituals ceased. Jenna's story became legendary, but she left Eldon haunted by the memories. The village erected a statue in honor of Old Man Harris, warning all of the dangers within the forest and the cost of meddling with the dark arts. And so, the tale of the Forest of Shadows remains a cautionary one, reminding all who hear it about the thin line between curiosity and doom, light and darkness, and the ancient powers that should never be awakened.
Now the second story.
In the town of Linton, on a hill overlooking a cold, misty moor, stood Barrow's Manor. Once the envy of the region for its grandeur, it now lay in disrepair, avoided by all due to the ghostly tales associated with it. Lucas, a historian with an interest in debunking myths, arrived in Linton. He heard about the manor's infamous legend. Sir Geoffrey Barrows, the original owner, was rumored to have been buried alive by his jealous brother, Richard. Since that fateful night, Sir Geoffrey's spirit was said to roam the manor, seeking vengeance. Armed with his tools and skepticism, Lucas decided to spend a night in the manor. As night fell, an eerie silence enveloped the place. The only sound was the ticking of a long-stop grandfather clock that, to Lucas's surprise, had started working again. Midnight approached. Lucas began hearing faint whispers. Thinking it might be the wind, he continued documenting his surroundings. Then, he heard footsteps, slowly growing louder, echoing through the long hallways. Following the sounds, Lucas found himself in the old dining room. The table was set as if expecting guests, with one chair turned over. Suddenly, the candles lit up on their own, revealing a shadowy figure seated at the head. The ghostly figure, resembling Sir Geoffrey, pointed towards a wall. Lucas, mustering courage, approached and found a loose brick. Behind it was a diary. The diary belonged to Richard. In it, he confessed to the heinous act of burying his brother alive, not out of jealousy, but out of fear. Sir Geoffrey had dabbled in dark arts, and Richard believed this was the only way to save the town from his brother's madness. Shaken, Lucas realized the spirit was not seeking vengeance but redemption. He decided to give Sir Geoffrey a proper burial. As dawn broke, the spirit of Sir Geoffrey appeared one last time, nodding in gratitude. Lucas left Barrow's Manor, ensuring that Sir Geoffrey's story was told correctly. The manor was soon restored, becoming a historical site. But those who visited often said they felt a cold presence and heard soft whispers, reminding them of the dark past that once haunted its walls.
Now the third story.
In the heart of Ravenwood Town, everyone knew the old Blackwood mansion, sitting atop a cliff, its silhouette casting a grim shadow over the valley below. No one dared approach it because of the tales of Lady Isabella Blackwood, an infamous black magic practitioner. It was said that in the late 1800s, Lady Isabella, heartbroken over her lover's betrayal, unleashed a curse upon Ravenwood. Ever since, every 50 years, a dense, unnatural fog would engulf the town, and one soul would vanish, never to be seen again. Mark, an ambitious young writer, moved to Ravenwood to pen Lady Isabella's biography. He wasn't one to be dissuaded by village superstition, so he decided to visit the Blackwood mansion, especially since the 50-year cycle was nearing. On the eve of the fog's predicted arrival, Mark ventured into the mansion. Inside, he was met with a sight out of time. The mansion seemed to be preserved, with lit candles, an untouched dinner table, and walls adorned with portraits of Lady Isabella. Drawn to a soft humming, Mark entered the library. There, amidst countless tomes on dark arts, stood a grand mirror with an ornate ebony frame. The mirror's surface rippled like liquid, and Lady Isabella's reflection stared back, her eyes filled with a mixture of sorrow and anger. Before he could react, Mark found himself pulled into the mirror. He was in a parallel version of Ravenwood, shrouded in a never-ending twilight. The town was eerily quiet, and as he wandered, he came across statues of people, frozen in terror. It dawned on him that these were the missing souls from the past cycles. Lady Isabella's voice echoed, "You wish to tell my story? Then live it." Mark realized he was trapped and had to break the curse to free himself and the tormented souls. He remembered reading about an ancient ritual that could counteract dark magic. Gathering ingredients like salt, lavender, and a personal belonging of the cursed individual, Mark performed the ritual at the town center. As he chanted, the statues began to shimmer, turning back into humans. Together, their combined will and energy created a force that targeted the heart of the curse, the mirror. The mirror shattered, releasing Mark and the lost souls. Ravenwood returned to its normal state, bathed in the early morning's golden sunlight. The next evening, at the town's inn, Mark found an old diary on his bed. It belonged to Lady Isabella. In it, she expressed regret for her actions and gratitude to Mark for setting things right. The Blackwood mansion remained, now a beacon of hope and redemption. The fog never returned, and Ravenwood's dark past became a distant memory. Mark stayed and wrote his book, ensuring Lady Isabella's true story was finally told.